We had family devotions every evening, and it was out of a devotional period that inspired me many, many years later to do the Butterfly Center. Cecil would tell the children, just as our lives are just creepy crawlers, almost like the caterpillar, when Christ comes into our lives, we are created in a new fashion. We become new creatures.
This is the single most popular attraction we have at Callaway Gardens, is the Cecil B. Day Butterfly Center. And when you go in there and see these 1,000 butterflies just flying around, and it's just an exciting thing that everyone loves, and Deen did that for us. You know, when you're so good at one thing, you forget other things, and Deen is such a loving, wonderful person with such a love of family and love of God that you forget other aspects of her. But you should not forget that when her husband, Cecil Day, died, she was in charge of Day's Ends. And Day's Ends was a huge enterprise, and she ran it for years, and she didn't half run it, she ran it with great respect from everyone in that industry.
I had enough leadership qualities from many, many years of leading different organizations and being president of this organization or that one, and I have the ability to say no. We always struggled with Day's Ends. It was not a business that was just a huge success immediately. Although the rooms were renting well, we started having to borrow an awful lot of money, and we were always in debt. And Cecil Day came home during the oil embargo, and he said, "Deen, you will live on $12,000 a year." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Absolutely."
God has blessed her with such a variety of talents and abilities that there's no way to categorize any one certain talent in her life. And this is the reason that she can be a mother, be a businesswoman, and a community worker, a garden club leader.
She's intelligent, she was quick, and she kept Cecil's philosophy. Anything that we did, we were supposed to consider, is it legal, is it honest, is it ethical?
I always try to think, well, there are a lot of people that stayed in Day's Ends, and what can we do that would give back to the people that enabled us to have it in the first place? The good Lord enabled you to have it, but those people that rented the rooms were certainly responsible for what happened.
Here's a woman who is a recipient of the Horatio Alger Award for her business accomplishments from rising from a small, humble background to a very successful business career. At the same time, this year she's the 1997 Georgia Mother of the Year. She's head of the, she's going to be president of the National Garden Club in 1997. She's been named Philanthropist of the Year. She's run a very successful business. So this is a lady with a multiplicity of talent.
The times were hard. We were living in a little rural community where everyone basically were poor. They lived according to how good your character was, not how much money you had in the pocket, because people didn't have money. And we had to conserve everything.
The recent selection of Deen as the Georgia Mother of the Year was a joy to my heart. And one of the things that impressed me the most about Cecil and Deen after I joined the company was his love and respect for his wife and his devotion to his family.
I'm often reminded of, my dad would keep a little plaque in the kitchen that he gave my mom from Proverbs 31. And it talks about the very capable wife and kind of the ideal wife. And if you were to go down that plaque, description by description, that's what you'd have in my mother. I mean, she's just an outstanding person, a real woman of valor and courage, and a lover of beauty and a lover of people. So very dedicated to her family and her friends, and so much of what she does shows that.
I always look at her as even if she had not won that event, to me she still would have been the Mother of the Year, Mother of the century, I think.
Her family is everything to her. I've never talked to her at any length that she's not talking about something that one of her children or someone in her family's done.
I have seen a quote from Deen Day Smith that said that she'd never been interested in cooling it on the Riviera. She could have gone anywhere and done anything with her wealth, but she chose to stay here at home and help people.
One of the greatest things about her is her giving attitude. And I wish that I could have more of that giving spirit that she has.
She really has helped more people than any one person that I know here in the state of Georgia. She did not and does not want any credit for the help that she has been to so many people.
There is no sweeter spirit than a Deen Day Smith who is a steward over the gifts that God has given her. And you know, it's never a day goes by that you don't see something or hear someone say that Deen Day Smith and the Day Foundation has touched their lives in some special way. And it's not the big gifts sometimes, it's the little ways in which she reaches out to touch so many lives.
Well, you know, the one thing you can say about my mother is when she decides to join something or do something, she's going to do it well. She has a real servant's heart about her. And so she was invited to go up with Jimmy Carter and Millard Fuller to New York on one of the first large Habitat work crews. And what her gift was, it wasn't hammering and nailing, but her gift is really the gift of hospitality. And so she just took that gift with her to New York and cooked hours on end from sunrise to sunset and later way into the night, just cooked for the folks that were working up there all day long.
I'm trying to think of something that she hasn't touched in somebody's life in Georgia in some way, and I can't.
She believes in helping people, not simply through the federal government. She believes the government's role is limited, but the role of individuals and the responsibility we all have with our God-given resources is very significant. And that's the kind of philosophy she has, and I think she has greatly helped the Georgia Democratic Party by not only voicing that philosophy in a quiet, effective way, but most importantly by living that philosophy.
I think that government has to play a role, but we've taken it too far, and now the pendulum must swing back to a different position. I'm a conservationist, and so that makes me be a little different than some political persuasions would be, because I was brought up in a time where you had to be a conservationist. I've always been interested in politics, and as everyone knows, Cecil Day was a Republican and Deen was a Democrat, and I'm a conservative Democrat.
I think Deen may still claim to be a Democrat. I'm not sure about that. But certainly if she's a Democrat, she's my kind of Democrat. I would vote for her for anything she ran for any time.
I'm going to always vote the person, and I'm going to always vote the person that I feel will do the best job.
Some people could have become bitter with all the things that she has gone through in her life, the trials and tribulations and challenges, but she has become more generous. She's become more compassionate. She's become more empathetic to the plight of others and each one of the challenges she's had in life. So her adversity has strengthened her character rather than the reverse.
You live through one experience and you say, God, help me through it. And you know then the next one, He'll help you through that one also. My grandmother influenced me in the love of gardening. And when you think about it, the good Lord influences you in that regard because He started it all in a garden. And there's something very, very satisfying about growing things. Virginia Callaway influenced my life. Virginia taught me as a young woman in my late 20s and early 30s and as a member of the garden club to look within the flowers to see what was going on inside.
I think there's a side of her that really enjoys being quiet, getting outside, enjoying nature and God's creation. And that's the side that a lot of people don't see because she does enjoy people and she loves people, but she also enjoys those private times.
And she reminds me of a petal of a flower. You bend back one layer and you see another. And yet God has used her because He's given her that wisdom to be all things in a lot of places. And to whom much is given, much is also required. And that is what she has done with her life.
Anybody that meets Deen knows that what you see is exactly what she'll be. There's nothing pretending. As a matter of fact, she's very consciously sensitive to not putting or promoting herself
in some way that would try to set herself apart. And then I think secondly is her real interest in you. When you speak with her, it's like you're the only person there.
I live my life on the premise that I will learn something from everyone I meet. If I spend any time at all with them, I'll try to pick up something that I know about them.
She's not into making impressions, and she's just who she is. She's Mom.
She is a woman of incredible strength, but tempered by a grace that she extends to everyone around her. She's someone who can encourage you to be so much more than you think you can be.
What really makes Deen Day Smith happy is seeing other people happy. I really know that she's the most unselfish person I've ever seen in my life.
She doesn't have to always be the one that's the center of attention. And she's willing to share of herself and help someone else's dream come true.
Deen Day Smith is a unique person. She's a person of great faith. She doesn't wear that faith on her sleeve. She just lives it. Every day she's living the faith that she believes in. And it's just, you can tell when you get to know her. I can't think of anyone who would be more deserving of the Freedom Award than Deen Day Smith.
She's gracious. She's generous. She is genuine. She's not putting on airs when she's around anyone. She can mix with people of the humblest station in life to royalty and do both graciously. She's a great lady. There's just no doubt about that. Her involvement in Georgia has greatly strengthened our state, whether it's in the business realm, where she is a very, very competent businesswoman, or whether it's in the political realm, where she brings what I call common sense conservatism to the Democratic Party, or whether it's in the arts, or whether it's in protecting the environment, or whether it's in medical research. She is just very, very effective. Never overbearing, always generous, always gracious, and always effective.